Hi, welcome to Rave Sensation. I'm your host, Dan. And in this episode, I am going to be looking at 25 years of spine-tingling art. The magazine and pulp artwork of Rick Spine Mountforth. I was just right before I was starting this, I was going like, I wonder what I could call this video to make sure somebody pays attention to it. And now that I'm looking at, this is a heck of a cover. A heck of a title, rather. It's not one that is probably going to sell to anybody who doesn't have a good idea who Rick is. Rick, we got to work. I'm hoping that you put out a second volume, so we'll have to work on a nice title that'll catch the ear of some people who don't necessarily know who you are. The magazine and pulp artwork of Rick Spine Mountforth. So, here we go, the magazine and pulp artwork. And there's his acknowledgments. Most of the stuff has appeared in Scary Monster magazine and in Don Glut's pulp Frankenstein books. There's several places he's done this work for. Table of contents. So here it breaks it down. Things for Scary Monsters magazine, that reboot of the Castle of Frankenstein, the Journal of Frankenstein, Fright Monsters, World of Fandom, the New Adventures of Frankenstein, which is Don Glut's pulp magazine, Adventures of the Frankenstein Monster. And let me just say, this looks like Basil Wolverton there a little bit. He's got an old school style, which is cool because he's looking at, these illustrations are, the vast majority of them, classic Monster Kid subjects. And I love that stuff. And this is pretty great stuff. There, of course, is King Kong. Well, now this one comes a little bit further up. There's Fun House. There's Oliver Reed's Curse of the Werewolf. I'm not going to go through naming off every monster. I'm just going to give you an idea of what this stuff is like. And you'll see, at one point, there's the pointillism aspect of it. In these kind of markings that are a lot of dots, but there's a lot of other marks too. A lot of interesting marks he uses to get his tones. I guess the theme of this one is Fulci. The Outer Limits monsters. Just a lot of great stuff. And, aside from the fact that, the magazines he was doing this stuff for, the fanzines, what have you, are all ones that were kind of Monster Kid based. They were, generally printed on old, in an older style. But the magazines that it kind of reminds me of are the fanzines that are even older. Because back in the 60s and early 70s, a lot of fanzines weren't able to reproduce photos very well. And so they would fill up the fanzines with artwork, which they were able to produce better, black and white artwork. And that's what this reminds me of a lot. So it's nostalgic in several good ways. Now, these aren't in chronological order. I think that, and I think he'd agree that Rick improved over the years. He had more varied markings. He learned how to balance the blacks better. Well, maybe he'll disagree with that. I don't know. It's a nice one. Vincent Price. There's another, Monsters in Hot Rods. That's another monster kid kind of trope. And some really nice stuff. Like I said, I know Rick, not really well, but I do know him. And I've always appreciated his artwork. I did ask him if there was a second volume on the horizon, and he said yes. There's yeah, he's picked some really interesting things. Even when he's working, you know, a lot of these times you can recognize the photograph they were taking from. And so the idea is the art and the way he's doing it, adding something to it. And there's a definite feeling of, although I don't recognize that, I wonder if that's an original. And I think there is, and that's the mask, the Dawn Post mask. I think there really is something to be said for this type of work. Rick, that's a saucy one. That really captures him pretty well. There's a little mini interview with him from a fanzine. And there's the Blind Dead. That's great. I love that there. And like I said, there's a lot of great marks and, you know, different, a lot of different textures in this artwork and the way he's done this. He does like the Cyclops and the Colossal Beast, the one-eyed face. That might be an original there. And of course, King Kong is my favorite monster of all time. There's Garrett Morris, I think, from the stuff. I think that's what it is, because that's what in the end, when the Garrett Morris is vomiting up loads of the stuff from the Larry Cohen film, the puppet doesn't really look that much like him. Very, very good. Yeah, there's a lot of Frankenstein, so what? The Phantom Creeps. A lot of really good stuff. If you're a fan of monster art, if you're a fan of these films, I really think this is worth getting. It's a lot of fun. It's very nostalgic for me. I love looking at this stuff. Now, I'm not going to go through the whole. Let's not flip through every page. But let me go back here to the back. Wow, there's a lot of Frankensteins. There's another. There's the Cyclops. Another one of those guys who's had who's a Cyclops because he's had an eye destroyed. Oh, here's the Don Glut New Adventures of Frankenstein stuff. So these are pulp. These are pulp novels with the Frankenstein monster, and there's a lot of other monsters in the various issues, and it makes me kind of wish that there would be a comic book of these. That's a great. I have I only have like one or two of the, there's a bunch of volumes in this. They're fun. I haven't read them for a while now. These are, and the versions I have are older. They don't have Rick's illustrations in them. I think these would be a good addition to them. I think these ones with Rick's illustrations are still available. That's a really great. Very good. Cool. Anyway, so there you go. It's over 200 pages of great monster drawings. I hope you liked looking through that. This is available. It's a print on demand on Amazon. There's the ISBN if you want to zoom in on that. That's a good way to order it. Or otherwise, you can look for it by the title there, 25 Years of Spine-Tingling Art. So, like I said, there's going to be a second volume, I believe, and I can't wait to see it. All right. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks.